Every parent shares a simple hope to give their child a better life, built on the foundation of a strong education. For the family of 11-year-old Divyansh Trivedi, that hope took shape on April 15, 2026. That was the day they enrolled him at the Ramanuj Bhagwat Ved Vidyapeeth Gurukul in Lucknow. The institution promised a rigorous, free, and traditional Vedic education. His parents handed him over with complete faith. Driven by a deep cultural reverence for the Gurukul system, they believed they were leaving him in a safe, nurturing environment where he would thrive. But that trust was shattered exactly 168 hours later. Divyansh's lifeless body was found discarded near his home in Kanpur. Inside the Ramanuj Bhagwat Ved Vidyapeeth, the daily routine for Divyansh had become a series of calculated physical assaults. The investigation that followed forces us to ask how a registered place of learning can conceal fatal, systematic abuse for an entire week without a single person intervening. To understand what happened inside those walls, we have to look directly at the official post-mortem report. The medical examiners documented a horrifying sequence of events. This visualization maps the findings of that report. Across an 11-year-old boy's body, examiners recorded 43 distinct injuries. Layered on top of that blunt force trauma, they found 11 separate cigarette burns. The triggers for these attacks were entirely ordinary behaviors. The staff assaulted him simply for singing or talking to the other children. The physical beatings with sticks and belts were compounded by severe environmental abuse. They stripped him, forced him to stand under the scorching sun for hours, and deliberately starved him. The sheer volume and variety of these injuries demonstrate that violence was a sustained, unchecked methodology within the institution. Police traced the timeline backward and arrested the Gurukul's operator, Saurabh Mishra, also known as Kanaiha, along with his girlfriend Harshita Soni. Realizing the boy was dead, the pair attempted to hide the evidence. They drove the body from Lucknow back to Kanpur, dumping it near Divyansh's house to sever any immediate geographic connection to the Gurukul itself. Authorities charged them both under the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, applying strict sections for murder and the destruction of evidence. As the forensic details leaked, public outrage erupted. Across Uttar Pradesh, digital campaigns demanding justice for Divyansh, stop child abuse, and child safety first dominated social media feeds. The fact that 43 injuries occurred over 7 days without any external detection has turned public anger toward the regulators. The demand is now for systemic accountability, starting with how these private institutions are licensed and monitored. The focus now rests on the structural blind spots in residential education. These setups often operate as complete black boxes. Looking at this structural comparison, you can see how a closed system functions. When daily parental oversight and routine state inspections are removed, the feedback loop between the child and the outside world is cut off entirely. Fixing this requires aggressive state intervention. That means mandating unannounced government inspections, enforcing rigid child protection standards, and requiring exhaustive background checks for any staff member in a residential facility. A deep respect for traditional learning is an important part of the culture, but that reverence cannot be used as a legal shield to bypass modern, enforceable child safety laws. Until those systemic reforms are enacted, parents are the primary line of defense. You have to act as the inspector. First, verify the facility. Before admitting your child, demand to see official state registration and insist on clear policies regarding parental access to CCTV footage. Second, establish a secure line of communication. Give your child a specific, secret code word they can use on monitored hostile phones to signal danger without tipping off the staff. Finally, monitor their behavior relentlessly. During visits, look for subtle signs of trauma, sudden withdrawal, prolonged silence, or physical flinching. Handing a child over to a closed institutional environment requires immense scrutiny. Blind trust is an assumption of safety you can no longer afford. Divyansh Trivedi was an 11-year-old boy who went to school to learn and never came home. Securing a prison sentence for his attackers is a necessary step, but true justice means forcing the structural changes required to guarantee no other student endures what he did. Interrogate the institutions operating in your own neighborhoods. Ask the hard questions, demand transparency, and refuse to look away until every classroom is proven safe.